Hello, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Chat with Lindsay and Neely.
Hey, y'all.
Oh, look, I have my matching. I actually have my
Oh,
electrolytes in it.
I have
Not
my
coffee.
electrolytes over here.
Excellent.
We have
Got
all
my-
of our emotional support cups. We're ready to
yes,
go.
I've got my 90s retro mug today. It feels right because it's like raining, like pretty heavy rain. It's not
Ooh.
terribly cold, so
Yeah,
but it's like dreary. It's just dreary.
yeah,
And so I don't know,
fantastic.
this feels right.
I think that I really enjoy a solid, rainy, dreary day, but it's like one of those things where it either needs to be like all the way for like a
Mhm,
full week, and it
mhm,
has to be one of those weeks where there's nothing to go and do, or all of
mhm.
your activities are like not necessary.
Yeah.
And you can just like hunker down and hibernate for a week.
Mhm.
Or it needs to be like one of those days, and then all the rest have to be glorious and ice cold with snow on the ground.
Mm. Yeah,
And I know not everybody feels
I
that way,
understand.
and I'm okay with it.
I understand.
What you showed us the cup, but you didn't explain what it was that was in the cup.
I have almost drunk it all already. It's just coffee with cream.
Oh, oh.
You
Guess
know.
what mine is?
Black decaf coffee.
Yes.
Like we've done this before.
I mean, only about 1,000 times. Oh
Yeah.
my
It would we
goodness.
haven't, like, numbered our episodes. That would be interesting to, like, know when we're at 100 or, some milestone
That
of
would be, I mean, I feel like we've probably already passed 100 since we've been doing this
right.
for nearly 2 years,
But we
or
didn't
we
celebrate it.
might be coming up on 100 episodes because there were some times whenever I was out of town or you were
Mhm.
sick, and maybe we don't count those episodes. That
Oh,
way it all kind of like our 100th episode,
okay.
we can do the things.
We have to go back and count them. That sounds like work.
Can we contract that job out to, like, I don't know, a teenager or something?
They're pretty unreliable.
They are unreliable, but also if I said this will count for 30 points out of 100 on your current algebra stuff,
Mm,
maybe they would be more willing to just like commit to it.
yeah. Yeah, we have a system where if the kids leave unfinished processes or, do something disobedient, they get marks and they have to work the marks off with chores, extra chores. And so if a child gets a mark that they need to work off, maybe we could have them do some administrative work.
I think that's valuable information and skill building. Honestly, I
Yeah,
do.
I mean,
I
hopefully it
really
doesn't violate
do.
any child labor laws or anything.
They're your children, and
Yeah.
it's putting them in front of a screen.
Yeah. Risa
Okay.
is here. She gets the gold star for being first in the chat, at least that I see. Hi,
Oh,
Risa.
yay!
And Charlotte is here. And
Hello.
Blaze, hello, Blaze. Rickwin, hello. Hayden is here. Just got home from the store with 10 pounds of 97. What is 97C?
97 cents per pound.
Oh,
That's amazing.
that's like so cheap that
I'm
I
gonna
think
give
my brain didn't register that that was money.
That's full on fireworks. I mean,
Oh,
less
from the
than a
New Week
dollar a
ad.
pound is amazing.
Yeah. Now, Hayden, you're in the UK, I think, right? So I wonder what 97 cents there
Equivalency.
is this
I
it's
know that it's not far apart anymore, and for a little while there, the pound was actually stronger than the dollar, so it's possible that it's slightly more
whatever
in
the case. It's a
American
great.
dollars, but
Let's see.
not up
Reese,
on my exchange
no,
rates.
no, that's not one of the things I keep as a priority
It,
in my
it,
days.
it's not one of my first things I check.
Yeah.
No, I should change
Um,
that.
Risa says, I'm drinking the bottom of my morning coffee, Starbucks Cafe Verona, with Four Sigmatic creamer and organ collagen. Oh man, it's like you're hitting all the points there. And daily minerals. I'll be drinking the remaining pumpkin spice coffee at work.
I tell
Sounds
you
like
what, if there's somebody who I genuinely believe works their way through any of the products they purchase, it is Risa and
that is
probably Blaze. I
true.
feel like between the two of them, they have got the use what you got
Mm-hmm.
thing down. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
I get into the habit of like, okay, I love this thing, I'm going to buy this thing, and then I wind up sticking it in the cabinet for a while, and I kind of am like, oh, it's the good tea. Like I love this one called Matcha Maker. It's irrelevant. I I bought this tea like a couple of years ago, and it's like, oh, that's the good tea. I'm not going to use it all the way up. Why would I use it all the way up? Because then I won't have one that I will never use. So it's one of those things where I would like I would like to take a leaf out of Risa and Blaze's book
Mm-hmm.
to say, use it. It's not it's not there forever. Just use it.
Yeah. Well, I've found a pattern that I fall into is I will find a product that I like and I'm using it consistently. And I'm like, I need to stock up on this. And so as soon as there's a
Because I'm
sale,
going to
I
use it
stock
forever.
up on it. And then I end up like falling out of the habit of using it. So now I've just stocked up on it and it's filling my pantry and I'm not using it consistently. I did that with the collagen creamer from, oh, now I can't remember, but it's like the mocha flavor collagen creamer is powdered and it's dairy free.
Okay.
I stocked up on it when I was doing dairy free because I was using it consistently. Then I created my own dairy free creamer that I like.
Vital
And
protein.
yeah, Vital Proteins. That's it.
Ha.
That's it. You did it. Good job. Gold star. Um, and so then I made my own dairy free creamer that I like. And then I started having dairy again. And now I have like, I don't know, 6 canisters of stuff in my pantry. And I'm like, now I have to figure out a way to use it up because it already exists.
So, quick question
Mhm.
about that. Does it have fat to it?
It does because it has coconut milk powder. It's
Okay,
the it's a creamer, not just a flavored collagen.
I got you.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
I have found that adding powdered fats that are like
Mhm.
just hanging out in my cupboards and whatnot, like Perfect Keto MCT oil powders, like adding those or micro ingredients MCT oil powder as my fat
Mhm.
source for my Ninja Creamies, the texture is phenomenal.
Okay, I'm
Like
doing it.
phenomenal. So if you're looking for a way to at least, attempt to use some of it, I would give
Mhm.
that a shot because
Okay.
honestly, Jared's favorite ice creams that I make from the Ninja Creamy are when I use KetoChow Snickerdoodle, the salted caramel and cinnamon toast MCT oil powder as my fat, and then water. And then everything else, like nothing else, like just those 3 powdered ingredients and water. And
Okay.
it becomes amazing. He's like, this is
Okay.
so flavorful.
Yeah, because when you have it as ice cream, it doesn't taste as sweet and flavorful if you don't add a little bit of extra. When it's all frozen
Right.
like that, it kind of blunts the flavor and sweetness. So that makes sense. Do
Yeah.
you use like a scoop of each of the salted caramel and cinnamon toast
I actually use
per creamy?
I will use 4 servings per pint of a
Okay.
Ninja Creamy as our fat source.
Okay.
So
So
that
4 scoops servings of
yeah, 4
MCT oil.
scoops.
Okay.
So
Okay.
2 and 2, and then the
All right.
Keto Chow. So then we've got those bioavailability for those fat soluble vitamins, and it
Yep.
has all the creaminess to it. And I don't remember if the Perfect Keto has acacia fiber in it
It does.
as
Yeah.
anti-caking agent.
Yes.
That also helps with it. So I don't know if
Mm.
the collagen creamer that you have has any kind of an anti-caking thing with like
I think it has
xanthan or
also.
acacia.
Yeah.
I tell you what, that has come in to be like
Okay.
our go-to method for creamies.
Okay. I have not been making creamies for a while because,
Chill.
weather,
Mm-hmm.
but I need to. I need to get back into the habit of doing it, and that might just get me into it. So I'm gonna try that. 4 servings MCT oil powder. And,
Mm-hmm.
because I have it, I'm not going out and buying a bunch of MCT oil powder to do
Right.
it, but
Right.
because I have it, I should
It's
just
a
go
way
ahead.
to use it up. It's an option,
Yes,
or
yes,
at least
we love
attempt
that.
it. And if you don't love it, you don't love it.
Yeah. And that's what, these companies do to us is they're like, especially the Perfect Keto, where it's like so expensive, you don't ever buy it. You don't just buy
Right.
it as you need it.
Right.
You have to
Right. You have
anticipate
to
your needs.
stock up on it on those like Black Friday sales.
Yes, which is coming up, by the way. Yeah. So sometimes so the pattern I always find myself in is I have to stock up because now is the time. And then,
It's the
something else becomes exciting and I start using it instead. And then I'm like, oh, I have all of this stuff here.
Oh yeah. Or like your actual season of life shifts from I had all the time to be
Yes.
making these things. Now I'm like expending that time on driving children to places they asked to go or activities or other
Yes.
things that are necessary for life. So it's like I have to ebb and flow with my ingredients, but I like ebb, but I never flow. I never flow back.
Yup. Becky is here drinking homemade electrolytes with lemon over ice. Still hot in
Yummy.
Florida. I wouldn't mind it being hot. A little bit hot. I see.
I would.
I am different than you in that
You're
I
different.
wouldn't mind it being different every day of the week. Like, give me a hot day, then give me a rainy, cozy day, then give me a snowy day. I get
my
bored if it's the same thing for too long.
my sinuses already have a negative response to the back and forth weather. I cannot
Mhm.
fathom what my body would do in a continuous cycle of 24-hour period of warm and then cold and then warm and then cold.
Yes.
It's a hard thing for my brain to fathom.
And I get that. And actually, I was thinking about something recently. It's just like a random aside. But I've been thinking about light and circadian rhythm more.
Sure. Yeah.
And it kind of when you first hear about it, you're kind of like, oh, that's just like woo woo,
That's hokum.
that's silly. But then I'm thinking, okay, it is well established that if you want to get chickens to lay more during the winter, you give them a light and you give them more, light time. And
Yeah.
like it affects their bodies so much that their reproductive system keeps on a pumping. Like, so I was just like, well, then I guess it does make sense that it would affect us hormonally and, all
Sure.
kinds of different ways. And so it's like, okay, it's like we think of it as woo woo in relation to us, but then it's like, no, this
Sure.
is something that people have known for a long time with chickens. This is a way to hack their fertility. Anyways, those random thoughts that I've been
That's
having.
not that random. I feel like it's appropriate. It's a way to
Yeah.
hack your happiness if you're a human and hack
Yeah.
your egg production if you're a chicken.
Yeah, and I've been, trying to be more mindful about getting morning sunlight and not being indoors all the time. And,
Sure. Sure.
we'll see what that does for us. Maybe it'll make me lay more eggs. I don't know. Okay, moving on.
I can't with
I
you.
apologize, everyone.
Some days you get to be the Lindsay in the pair.
Okay, all right. Well, let's say hello to Ellie from Nourishment Redacted. Hello.
Hi.
Dustin is here from Keto Simple.
Howdy.
So Keto Simple is asking if we put these into a podcast playlist on YouTube. I have not, but that's a good idea because they do, let you do that now, and it's a different kind of playlist, I guess, than a
Sure.
regular one. I just have a coffee chat playlist that I have added stuff to. But that's a good idea. If you create a playlist, designate it as a podcast, people who use YouTube Music can listen to. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Crystal is here. Hello.
And Suzanne.
And Suzanne is here, listening in the background since I'm at work. We'll try not to be too disruptive. No guarantees, though.
Listen, I'm not sure we listen to ourselves half the time anyway. So.
Crystal says, I'm assuming Aldi.
Lidl, Aldi.
Yeah.
Rival companies from
right.
familial backgrounds.
Right.
Turkey
for 39 cents a pound. I bought one yesterday, $6. That's amazing. Yeah, you can get some really good meat deals this time of year. I need to look into that. Probably this Friday I will check that out and see if we can at least get a turkey. I don't know that we'll cook a turkey on Thanksgiving, but we'll cook one at some point around, this time of year just because they're so cheap.
Well, the absolute best holiday turkey is a prime rib.
There you go. The turkey of the cow, if you will.
I was just like, when they were talking, so I was on, the KetoChow live stream last night for a little while, and you were too.
Me too.
And whenever they were talking about all this sous vide turkey, I'm like, listen, y'all can have all your turkey, all sous vide, all of the things. You're blessed to do so. I'm just gonna want to have cow or pig.
Yeah. I mean, that's
I'm not looking for a feathered friend.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind a turkey if it's cooked well, but there's a reason we only have it once a year.
I mean, like, if it's what I got, it's what I got. But also,
well, and if you put enough herbs and butter under the skin, I mean, it's gonna be pretty good.
I mean, even the fried turkey craze, when the fried turkey craze was going on, I was still like, yeah, it's mealy, it's fine, it's turkey. Yeah. I mean, and I'm not a great cook. True story. Like, I put a lot of food out here on my channel. On my channel, I put a lot of food out. You have eaten my cooking. And
those Brussels sprouts were delicious.
I can fry some things. Okay. But sometimes I'll make chicken and I'm like, that's mealy. That's it's not what I'm going for. And I feel like turkey is an magnification of a chicken. It's automatically like magnified because it's a larger bird naturally. So then it's like all of the things that are like meh about chicken are like amplified in turkey.
Yeah. But more difficult to cook and deal with.
And there's so much more pressure with a turkey than there is with chicken.
That's true. Yeah, we have we have 3 chest freezers. 2 of them are pretty small. One of them is huge, like a coffin size.
Enormous. For the cadavers.
Yeah, one of the small ones is for like prepared foods, frozen vegetables and stuff like that. And then the other little one is our pork and chicken freezer. So it's like, I don't know, a quarter of the size of the beef freezer, because that's like the coffin size.
Right.
And when we got the whole cow a month or 2 ago, I had to take some stuff out of the beef freezer and put it into the chicken and pork freezer because there was room in that one.
Yeah.
No room in the beef freezer.
There's not room. Whenever you get that whole cow, it's a thing. It's a process. It's an adventure. And you think you're prepared for it, but your heart's never really ready.
Yeah, I did make it work. I had to render down. I had I forget if I did 2 big packs of beef fat.
Yeah.
I had it saved in my freezer for whenever I got to it. And then it was like, oh, we got to get to it right now.
Now is what I'm getting.
There is no room for this anymore. So I had to render that down. But besides that, I got it all to fit.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. We've been working through it.
Oh, yeah.
Which it feels so good to have a freezer full of beef. Let me tell you, it's like one of the security things.
It is. It's and it's a simplification in your brain. Like, you don't have to overthink. Like, okay, I have to go to the store. I need to concern myself with what are the current, meat prices. Do I need to wait a week on this one? Do I have to, pick and choose? It's like, nope, that is already a sunk cost. I'm gonna eat what I got.
Yeah. The only trouble I have is making sure I use the ground beef and roasts at the same rate as I use the steaks.
So, okay.
That's a struggle.
That can be a struggle, for sure. So we got our cow from a friend from church. His dad is a cattle farmer. And he said, do y'all want a cow? We were like, yeah, we do. So we got a whole cow, and I told them, I want literally everything. If it can stay as a roast, keep it a roast. If it can, if it's got a bone that can be salvaged, I want the bone. If it has a chunk of fat, I don't care. Give it to me all of it. And I had bushel boxes full of fat. And they were like, you sure? Yes, I'm sure. That's what I'm sure about. That is one thing I know for sure.
There are a lot of things I don't know in life.
This is not one of them. But our friend, he said, a lot of people will eat their steaks first and then their roasts and then they finally get to their ground beef, but definitely try to eat the ground beef faster just because like it starts to taste like the freezer faster than these
Mhm.
whole cuts of beef. And I was like, I took that to heart. I took it to
Yeah.
heart. And so like we still I mean, we don't have plenty of beef left and we're waiting on the next cow to
Mm,
be available for us. Like we've been in the queue for a little while, but the
yeah.
butcher places around here are swamped,
Really?
so overloaded. You cannot get a cow into the butcher at all right now. It's crazy. So we are waiting on that. But I'm like, man, this thing was jam packed full of ground beef. And like, even after me telling them, keep every roast you could possibly keep as a whole roast, because
Mhm.
I have a meat grinder, I can grind it down if
Yeah,
necessary.
true.
But so I'm looking at all this and I'm like, oh my goodness, we're slowly eating our way through this. And I'm having a bit of a little like, oh, there's a little tummy troubles because I'm like, do we have enough meat
Yeah.
until the next cow is prepared? But we've
Heaven
definitely
forbid you go to the grocery store and buy beef. That would
ew,
be the end of the world.
ew. No,
Yeah, it does
we'll
simplify
be fine.
my weekly grocery shopping to not have to think about meat
Right.
at all. I
Right.
mean, I do still get chicken and pork when it's on sale, although I stocked up so much over the summer. Like, there were a lot of, like, sales during barbecue season and stuff where, like, chicken wings and thighs and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and just have not even been looking at the meat in the grocery store at all, which is just simplifies things.
it really does. And then it's one of those things where I don't have to worry about, oh, is that cut of beef like is that going to turn on me?
Mm,
Is that one going to go bad? Because it's, in the sale bin or whatever,
mhm.
but I also recognize not everybody
Uh-oh. Lost Lindsay for a second.
are unable
There you are.
to action. Am I back?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I
I can
never
hear
I
you.
never stopped hearing you. For some reason though, I got a little
Okay.
alert flashing saying, "Oh,
Oh,
reconnect."
okay. You're back
Okay.
now, and your lips are now matched up with your words, so it's all good.
Oh, that's to say, beef is a thing. Let's carry on with talking to our people here.
Yes. Risa says, "Thanks, Lindsay. I wish
Oh,
it was true. I work my way through everything. You should see my pantry." I try, I really do. Okay. Well, at least you're human like the rest of us. Uh,
the way you talk about it makes me genuinely believe to my sternum that you make your way through everything you get.
yeah. You're
And I still want
consistently
to grow up
making
and be like
stuff. That's
Risa.
the important thing. Yeah, I'm like, I need to have a keto chow every day in order to not let my stash continue to grow. I'm
Build
like,
up
my
too much.
stash is as big as it should be, and if I don't have one every day, then it'll start growing more.
It's like sourdough starter.
Yes, yeah, you have to continually,
You
like,
have
do
to
discard
discard or
things.
use a quarter cup every time.
Yeah, and if I don't drink enough of it, then that's when I do a giveaway.
Well, I tell you what, we were getting a little bit backlogged on all the keto chow too, and Jared's like, "Hey, could you maybe like do a bunch of giveaways?" And I was like, "That's a great idea." And then I
Yeah.
get busy, and then I forget about, it, and then I'm like, "Oh, I can give that away. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
do that."
totally. Purple Loving Nona is here watching on the TV, so won't be chatting much. Progress and Transformation is here from New York City.
Howdy.
Dustin says, Chandra always gets to liking things and they get discontinued or they go out of business. Yeah, that's the worst.
That's the fear.
The
That's why you
worst.
wind up finding something you like and you stock up on it because you're terrified they're going to stop selling that specific flavor. I can think of a very specific moment in my life where I did not stock up and my heart feels sadness every Christmas season that I didn't get, 1,023 boxes. And it
Oh,
was
you said boxes, and now I'm not. I was thinking it was the peppermint keto chow.
that could fit into this category
But they're
because
not in boxes. So now I need to know what boxes you needed.
it was what is it, Celestial Seasons tea, and it was
Uh,
their Candy Cane Lane flavor. So it was
Uh,
peppermint. It was
uh-huh,
peppermint.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
And it was a decaf green tea variety. And I mean, like you can find it on different grocery store sites and things like that for a ridiculous price.
Mm,
And I'm like, it's just, it was, I guess it was a moment in my life and not a permanent fixture in my
yeah,
life.
yeah, it's okay. That's what makes things special. If you have
Maybe.
them all the time, it wouldn't be as special.
The only
But
thing is, like, I can't have it ever again. So
well, now I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
I don't know if you want to pay that price tag. It's ridiculous. Like, it is not that good. I mean,
You
it's
should
good, but
you
it's
should
not
figure out
that.
a way to DIY it and then give the recipe to all of us.
I mean, that's reasonable. That's
Yeah,
reasonable.
that would be good.
DIY candy cane lane tea.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I have more times where I stocked up on something thinking that I needed it so badly because it was going to go away and then it ended up sitting on my pantry forever than I have of times where I had to stock up and it legitimately was, you know,
Discontinued.
discontinued or going away. And so I feel like I'm growing in wisdom a little bit in my compulsion to
Yeah.
buy the entire shelf of a product.
Yep.
Maybe some improvements
Sure.
in that area,
But
hopefully.
also, if I find a t-shirt style that I like, I
Oh,
might I might buy 3 or 4 colors.
yes. Oh,
Used to be I'd buy all
I
8.
totally do that. Where I like buy 1 or 2 and I'm like, "I like it," and then I go back and buy it in every single color they have.
Oh
And then I
yeah.
have to buy 2 in the color that I like the most because
Oh,
what
for
if, I
sure.
get a splatter on it or something? And it could go away, especially if it's at Costco because
Oh.
their
Oh
stuff
yeah, they're gone before you even think about it twice.
yeah, so it's really important to stock up on it. But
Listen, we just gotta be honest about this stuff.
seriously. Let's see. Okay, Suzanne says she is going to use the Perfect Keto MCT oil powder. That's another one that I have a lot of them on my shelf because you don't buy them individually. You
You
buy
don't
6 at a time when it's 45%
50%
off.
off. Yeah.
And so I do have a lot of those on my shelf. And MCT oil powder, I mean, people use it for a supplement kind of to bump up your ketones. I never found that it did that for me. So I just use it for fun, like because it tastes
Yeah.
good. I don't use
Yeah.
it as like, oh, I need to get in my MCT oil for the day.
No, I always use it as a fat source if
Yeah.
I wanted to boost the fat and flavor of like yogurt or something. So
Yeah. Progress and Transformation says had coffee already with 2 tablespoons of cream, 2 scoops of collagen, plus a vitamin C pill. Now drinking first of 4 32-ounce daily bottles of water. That is amazing.
it's very disciplined of you.
It is. It is. I'm very much an intuitive water and
Water
electrolyte
consumer.
drinker. Yeah. Which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think I get a fair amount in, especially because I enjoy drinking it.
Yeah.
But, it's hard to
I
say
think
sometimes.
I ebb and flow.
Yeah. Like with, most things in life. We can't be perfect on everything all the time. That would be
No.
too much.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hayden says, I'm a procrastinator and know if I wait, they are out of stock. Gotta grab it when you can. Chicken flour making day for me.
Nice.
Um, do you do anything with chicken flour these days, Lindsay?
No. Do you, Neely?
I do not. We played with it a lot
It
back when
was
it
a
first came
hot
out.
item for a while.
It really was. And for me, it did not stick as something that I, use in my everyday life. I still have a couple bags of the carnivore crisp
Carnivore
one,
crisps one.
but I don't know what to use it on. Hmm.
I
So yeah, Hayden, tell us what you're going to use your chicken flour on. I'm curious.
yeah. I definitely don't use it at all right now just because it's one of those things. It's kind of like whatever comes in fashion, it's the same thing with food. So like
Yeah.
if the fall fashions, winter fashions change, then you automatically sort of like start only buying those things if you have to replace clothes because that's what's available. I feel
Mhm.
the same way about food. It kind of ebbs and flows. They
Yeah.
fall in, they fall in and out of fashion.
Yeah.
Like
Well, and I
cottage cheese was the hot ticket item,
oh,
like 12 or 14 years ago. And any diet culture, it's always been a hot ticket item. But then it's like, oh, all of a sudden, everybody's like, oh, here's the new viral thing. No, it's not
yeah.
new.
Yeah.
It's just recycled. But it fell out of fashion and now it's back and it's
Yeah.
fine. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. But then there are those certain things. Well, for me, cottage cheese has never fallen out of style.
For
Not that I'm
sure.
into everything, but I do eat it,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So it's one of those things that it's just made its way into my everyday diet. Chicken flour was not one of those things.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, if there was another great recipe to try, I would totally do it. Um, I was gonna say I'm finding myself in an interesting place where since I've been adding more carbs back to my diet, I am way less motivated to make keto versions of things.
Sure.
And it's not that, I've gone back to eating bread all the time, so now I don't need to make keto bread. It's just that my carbohydrate desires are
Options.
getting filled. And so it's like, I don't know, I feel like my diet is really moving more towards just whole foods,
Yeah.
aside from, like having a keto chow every once in a while and things like that. But I just when I'm having a little bit of carbs from fruit or, potatoes or sweet potatoes, I'm like, I don't even it like has taken away that desire. So I'm like struggling because, a lot of people have come to my channel because they want that kind of recipe and I want to, provide that kind of thing. But I'm just like, I just don't have as much motivation to do it anymore now that I'm eating a few carbs in my life. So I'm kind of at this little moment of like decision, like what
Like
are
a
we
fork in
doing?
the road.
Yeah. So it's been kind of interesting to just to observe my own, you know, motivations and inclinations. Like before, I was just like, oh yeah, that's just what I do. And now I'm like, oh, I should do that because that's what my channel, one thing that my channel focuses on. But then I don't have that natural inclination to just keep doing it. I'm like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah, I also think that that is kind of an ultimate testament to the fact that our channels are really just like what is happening in our lives. So
Yes.
if egg bread is not happening on the channels, it's likely that it's not happening frequently in the daily life. I mean, like your premix for the egg bread where you had
Mhm.
like the huge thing and you weigh out your 160 grams or whatever. I had a whole batch of that and it was fantastic for the season that I needed it.
Mhm.
And now I've gotten to a place where I don't need it. I'm not eating the carbs. I found that like that's not been for me right now. But I've also found that egg bread is not necessary for me right now either. I'm not
Mm.
in a position where I'm like, oh, I need sandwich bread quickly, or I need to have this, that, or the other quickly, or you know what I mean? It's just like it's
Yeah.
not the right season for me. And so you're not gonna see a ton of that on my channel either because it's not what I'm actually doing, and our channels are reflecting what we're actually doing.
Yeah.
Which on my channel currently isn't a whole lot.
Well, you're doing a whole lot, but it's just
I'm
not,
doing a lot.
sometimes it doesn't make it to the channel.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's I'm doing a lot unrelated to the keto lifestyle in my daily life, so there's not much to be shared on the videos
right.
at this
Yeah,
moment.
and I've thought about that too, where I'm like, if I was just trying to grow my channel, get lots of views, get lots of subscribers, I know I have a direction, like I know what I need to do that, and I'm just like, I can't bring myself to do that. Like I have no internal motivation to do that. So I was like, okay, maybe that's probably a good thing. I mean, a good thing because integrity is important to me.
Yeah,
If just
absolutely.
having a giant channel and making tons of money was the most important thing to me, then I would be motivated to do it, I think, but I'm not. So I'm like,
And we
okay, that's
probably would
cool.
be doing something very different because the reality is that the keto world or the egg bread world or the
Mhm,
carnivore realm or
mhm.
metabolic uh, biohacking and all that stuff, it's a very small subset of the world's population.
That's
it
true.
feels it feels like a world to us, like an
Yeah.
entire huge world, because we know all these people's names that are
Mhm.
doing it. But if I were to go up to my little sister, who was in the CrossFit realm for a while, and I were to say to her, "Do you know Dr. Eric Westman?" She'd be
Mm.
like, "What?"
Who?
"Do you
What?
know Dr. Barry? Are you familiar with the Keto Chow?" No.
No.
She's got a
Yeah,
big old blank stare off of her, just like radiating from her face,
yeah.
because the reality is this is a very, very tiny drop in the
Mhm.
bucket of the world. So
Yeah.
this is not the way to get it big and make all the monies off of the
Right.
internet.
Right, and I just have to be honest with myself that I don't have the energy
Yeah.
mentally or physically to go
Yeah.
through what it would take to blow up my channel.
Yeah. The dedication those people have is
Yeah,
admirable,
yeah.
but we don't wear one hat. We wear 87
Oh,
hats
so
all the
many.
time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I just can't afford to mentally deviate from all of those different hats. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Yeah,
because I'm
and
a bad
so
manager.
I do find it, like, way easier to make videos when there's something I'm really passionate about, like, I'm really excited
100%
about, and, like, going through that time when I was experimenting with the egg white bread, that was really fun, and I was getting so much, input from
joy.
and, like, going back and forth, like, "Let's try this," and other
Yeah.
YouTube creators were doing things, and so we'd try each other's. That was really fun, and I was really
Yeah.
motivated to get videos out, and I'm kind of in a place right now where I don't have that one specific thing that's getting me really excited. So, yeah, I'm kind of and this is how it always has been with me and my YouTube channel is there's just those periods where there's a lull and
Yeah.
I don't have it in me to manufacture excitement for something when I don't have it internally. And so I just kinda have to cruise through those times, and then eventually something comes back,
Oh
like,
yeah.
so I get excited about something or, the view because, I mean, it was even the egg white bread that I just mentioned on a grocery haul video, and it was from viewers saying, "Hey, show us how to make the egg white bread." And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I could do that." And so that got, that whole ball rolling there. And there'll be something like that eventually. It was, and way back in the day, it was the Instant Pot where it's like, "Hey, I just got this
Yeah.
Instant Pot. I wonder what that's all about." And then, the interest was there. And um, so I'm certain that something else will come along and, like, the
Right.
excitement will be there, but that's just life, I think. It's not always viral videos. Like, life is not always viral moments. Like, that's just the reality, and so I'm just trying to work through, like, what it means to stay consistent without, manufacturing something that I don't have.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
absolutely. And that is something that you and I do twin on. We may not twin on some stuff, but we twin on a lot of things, and that
Yeah,
is one of them. Just
yeah, for
forcing
sure.
yourself to do something. I can always tell when I'm like, "Oh, that's not it. That's just not
Yeah, not authentic or
it." Genuine is like it's just that was not the genuine article. It
mm,
wasn't.
yeah, yeah. Purple Loving Nona is gonna try the unflavored MCT powder. Yeah, everyone, that's your homework for today, is to go
Or this
try
week. This week sometime.
sure, yeah, yeah, yeah. Try some MCT oil powder in your Ninja Creamy and see what that does for you. Cindy is here. Hello, Cindy, and Carrie is here. Let's see. Yeah, Hayden says live in the UK, and can get all seasons in one day. Yeah, we have
I
moments
found
like
that to
that.
be I found that to be true in many parts of the world.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Oh, Chris Bear is here. Hello. Oh, and Low Carb Spin is here. Good morning. Might have to catch the replay. Work is plenty busy this morning. Yes,
How
don't let us
dare work?
distract you.
How
Yeah,
dare it?
seriously.
We're clearly
Um,
having really solid, necessary conversations here.
we are. We are. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, Chris is talking about chickens and light. Our chickens appeared not to care about the light and didn't lay very many eggs regardless. They were slackers. Yeah.
No, no, no. They're not slackers. They're
Oh.
rebellious.
Oh. Those
They are
chickens.
trendsetters. They are trailblazers.
You know what? They
They
probably
are
just
the rebel force.
they can't manufacture the egg laying when it's not authentic to them.
They're like, this is not the genuine article. We're not
They're
doing
like,
it.
this is all we have, and therefore this is all we will give. I feel that. I feel that, chickens.
100%. That's right. It's right. It's right. It's right. It's right. I like it a lot.
Yes, we can be excellent. So many great egg puns. Let's see. Oh yeah. Bribe the chickens with more screen time. That would work. Okay. Let's see. Play on words, hilarious. Strangely did not bribe them with screen time. All right, progress and transformation is already on to bottle number 2. God, I feel like I'm failing at life right now.
I mean, you're also, what is it? 10:42 for you?
Yeah, 10, yeah.
Not
Yeah.
that. It's
Okay.
not,
It's just
you know,
coffee.
the end of the world. I mean, I am on my second tumbler here. So I don't know.
Thanks. That makes me feel a lot better.
It's nearly 2:00 here.
It's true. It's true. As soon, I just have a few more sips of coffee and then I'm straight onto my electrolytes.
It's a good plan. I like it.
Dustin says the only time we cook turkey is on Thanksgiving. Yeah. I mean,
But those turkeys aren't very thankful. You ever thought about that?
yeah. I feel like we have some attitude this morning.
Some days Lindsey is just kind of subdued. Those are off days. Some days Lindsey's real salty, like real spicy. She has a lot going on in her brain, and sometimes she can't figure out how to put it out of her mouth. That makes in a way that makes sense, and in a way that's edifying to everybody. And if it's not one of those things that is helpful, is it something that I should really just like lean into?
It's a struggle.
It is, and I just threw my pen too far away. And you know how I am about writing the notes that I don't ever go back to look at, apparently. Hey, I have a real question.
Here. Okay.
I
just
sing
want to
it.
say hi to Sing It. Late to the game. Decaf with Marigold Pumpkin. Marigold said that they have sold out already, like super fast.
Yeah, Josh told me that too.
All you guys ordering all of the pumpkin spice.
Love that. I really love what Marigold Foods stands for. Like, their food products are high quality. Their price tags reflect it, but also you can get a little bit of discount.
So.
No, and you can get a little discount by using either one of our links, but also like they are a company that genuinely cares. Like, you think about certain companies and you're like, these people genuinely care about the quality of their product. Like KetoChow genuinely cares. Perfect Keto, I think, cares. Maybe they don't. I feel like they care. And feelings are facts these days. So.
Yeah. Well, there are companies where, you know, things change as things change as time goes along. So Perfect Keto, they were owned by somebody and then they were owned by somebody else. And so it can kind of change. And so you kind of have to like watch and, you know, see how it goes.
Yeah. But I feel like the Marigold Foods, they have a heart for quality products.
Yes. It does seem that way.
And I really like a lot of their collagen peptide powders. They're delightful.
Oh, yes. They're so good. Okay. Oh, you had a question. What was your question?
I forgot it already. Be blessed.
Okay, because I interrupted you to say hi to Sing It, and now I want to know what the question was. Okay, Progress and Transformation wants to know, how much does a whole cow cost?
How many cups of sugar does it take to get to the moon? If you know that video reference, that movie reference, then
you got
it. Oh, well, I'm going to give the chat a chance. I'll give the chat a chance.
I bet Chris Bear does, because he knows all of it.
So our whole cow, I mean, it's gonna depend regionally, it's gonna
Yeah,
depend on
on
the
so many.
farmer, it's gonna depend on how much your butcher costs to actually process the beef. But I wanna say all in, ours was $2,600.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, with all the butcher fees and stuff, it was probably close to 3,000 for ours.
And it
Yeah.
also depends on the poundage of your cow.
Yeah, because there are small cows and big cows. Um, and then, one tip I'll give you is that if you just, like, search on Google for a ranch that sells their beef, and you find them online, typically the price is gonna be more expensive than if you are to find a local farmer that doesn't advertise.
Word of
Um,
mouth.
yes, and the best
Ask
way that
your
I have
people.
found yeah, the best way that I have found to find that kind of farmer is on local Facebook groups, where if you have
Oh,
a Facebook group for your town or area, or maybe if you're in a big city, a farming community town that's not too far, that you'd be willing to drive to,
sure.
um, go to their, like, community Facebook town group and ask, where's the best place to get beef? And I've found a couple different ones that don't even have websites. They just go by word of mouth. And I mean, they just have less overhead, because they're not paying for the website and doing all the marketing and all of that. And so the prices can be significantly less, than the others. So that's my one tip, to find the cheapest option.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not cheap. It's not cheap. And I mean, and I've said this before, if I just shop sales at the grocery store, I can get beef for less money per pound than buying a
Mm.
whole cow the way I buy it. So it's not necessarily just a money saving
Cost
venture.
situation.
Now, if I were to go to the store and buy the same quality of beef and not buy it on sale, it does save money. If you're just going, to the meat counter and buying it by the pound, then it would be more expensive. But if I wanted to get beef for the cheapest price, I would shop sales each week at the grocery store and stock up that way. I think the cows that I get locally, I think is a better quality. Like, it even tastes to me better. Like, when I first got some and we had it, we were like, "Oh my gosh, this is like a different thing."
Leaps and bounds better.
Yes, and so, but, if that's not in the budget, I don't wanna present it as this is just the cheapest way to get food, period, or even the cheapest way to get beef. It's not always that way, and you can get some really good deals just at the grocery store, if you shop sales. Yeah.
And you can definitely reduce your cost if you go ahead and get as many bones as possible to create your own bone
Right.
broth.
Yes.
I can go to the grocery store and I can buy, $5 to $7 per quart of bone broth, or I can make it myself with the bones from my cow. They're already gonna be discarding them. So to me, that kind of reduces my cost to a
Yeah.
small degree,
Yeah.
small, but it's one of those things where I feel more in control about the things.
Yeah. For sure. Okay, Sing It wants to know, do you gals drink Marigold pumpkin spice as is, or do you doctor it up? 2 pinches of salt and heavy whipping cream makes it work for me. That sounds really good. How do you use it, Lindsay?
So I like it as a steamer. So almond milk and then the 2 scoops. And yeah, you got to add a touch of fat to it, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
I have not ever felt like I needed to add salt to it necessarily. But that sounds like a great way to sort of like amplify the flavors for sure. So I'll have
Yeah.
to try that.
Yeah. I like it in tea, but that's gonna be doctored up with stuff. And then I also the way that I probably use it the most is mixed into yogurt. I really like.
Oh, it is good as that's yep, I definitely use it in yogurt too.
And then sprinkle on some, nuts,
Pecan,
or yeah, something
toasty
yummy,
pecan.
something crunchy. It's really good. Oh,
Flaky coconut.
I started sprinkling cacao nibs on my yogurt. That's really good. There, and I got roasted ones. They're
Yeah.
really good. Yeah. Nice and crunchy. Purple Love and Nona is looking forward to getting her cow order next week. That's so exciting.
I love it when it's cow time.
Yeah. Cow And when I
Cow
posted my video about buying a cow, I got several, while actually comments about, is it a steer or is it a heifer, or there was some other option, because there's female cows that have never had calves and they're something, and then there's males, and there's males that have been castrated, and then there's heifers that I guess are cows that have had calves, and they're all different things. So I actually don't even know. My cow was a they them. I don't even know what it was.
My cow was beef. I bought a beef.
Beef. Yeah.
I halfway debated on like sharing our whole experience of going from not having a cow, excuse me, to having a cow, and then how to manage my cow. And the only video that I'm sorry, my beef.
I want a video from you titled "How to Manage a Cow."
Well, first of all, you butcher it.
Yeah.
And then it'll do whatever you want it to do.
Yeah. Then you don't have to feed it or anything.
Got it. But the only video I ever got out was my tallow, rendering my own tallow. So, but also, okay, the concept of, we don't have time to dig into this right now, but the concept of defining specifics is one that has been a little bit of a burr in my saddle here lately. So it's one thing to have different nouns for a similar thing. Like if you're in the South, you might go to the grocery store and you'll use a buggy. But if you're, north of the Mason-Dixon, you might say, I got a cart, a shopping cart. Or an ideal example in my brain is if you go to different regions of the United States specifically, and you ask for some sort of soft drink, different people will say, I'd like a Coke. And they might actually mean Dr. Pepper. Some people might say soda. Yeah, exactly. Texas, you say, what kind of Coke do you want?
Yeah.
Sometimes they say soda, and sometimes they say pop. And every region has their version of what that, like it's the same thing, different word to use for it for regional vernacular, right? But it's hard because then it's like people get to a place of dogmatic thinking, like it can't be that. Define your terms. And I think that it gets to the point where like, what kind of bovine did you acquire? Which exact one? What is the genus, species? And I need a DNA break. Yeah. And it's like, God gave us brains to be discerning. And I think we have sort of gone through and exacerbated that to the degree where if we don't have scientific specificity with a thing, then we have to get up in arms. And I think that is a testament also to the fact that we are a whole bunch of weak people who need something.
Lindsey's spicy.
Like, could you go out and lift some weights instead of sitting here nitpicking? Because clearly you have some energy to burn and you're doing a lot of this, and you could be building your muscles or strengthening your structural integrity and possibly your character integrity by going out and doing something else. Just take a breather. And words have to mean something. Words absolutely have to mean something, or we don't have communication at all. But also, if someone says, I purchased a cow, the 2-year-old in the room understands that you mean the black and white spotted or the brown moo. It goes moo.
Yes.
So I got real up in arms, and I had a moment where I became that person with the whole like stuffing versus dressing thing. Like they are a similar thing, They're
Yeah.
the same type of thing, and maybe it's just a cultural regional thing. Actually,
Mhm.
it's not. It's actually the way that it's cooked. But it's one of those things where I don't have to get all up in arms over the fact that people are calling stuffing with they bake it in a dish. It's actually
Oh,
dressed. I don't have to do that. I
no,
don't
you
have
don't.
to do that. And so it annoyed me by thinking through that process. And then I was like, and now I've got 11 different things to be annoyed.
Mhm.
Clearly, I need to go work out. I don't know.
Yeah, seriously. After this, we're gonna go prep our creamies, and then we're gonna go lift some weights.
I was actually thinking about going on to the walking pad and just getting a
Mhm,
couple miles in, just walk it out. And
mhm.
I'll just hold my kettlebells in my arms and I'll just walk with my kettlebells. We need the world needs more alert.
Yeah, there are not enough alerts in the world.
I'm gonna go with it, I guess.
Okay. I'm only, like, halfway through the chat at this moment, and I wanna
I'm
make sure
sorry, y'all. I
this is all good. Oh, yeah, Hayden wishes, she stocked up on the licorice keto chow. Yeah, that's one of those things. Keto chow is one of the ones where you gotta be careful because they really will take it away, like the licorice keto chow and the peppermint. Yeah. Let's see.
think it's not fair to the chat because we really did go a whole bunch of different tangents as far as food is concerned and
True.
topics are concerned.
Yeah, Chris gave me some of the licorice keto chows, and Miriam was not thrilled. She almost took them back, and I was like, "No, hey."
I'm pretty sure I have a licorice in my stash, and I'm like, that one's gonna sit there for a while
Yeah,
until Jared says he wants it. That one's just gonna hang out.
yeah, yeah, that's understandable. Or until I come to visit and you can make it for me.
There you go. That's it.
Let's see, let's see. Yes. The way to shop, one in every color of the thing I liked. Yep.
I mean,
Um,
at least there's variety in the color. Steve Jobs didn't even do that when he was alive.
that's true. And see how it worked out for him, so I'm going with color.
It's not
Uh,
okay. Not okay.
yes. Okay, let's see. Oh, Miriam was dehydrating chicken to grind up yesterday. All right, I need to know what you guys are making. Let's see. Make chicken nuggets and use chicken flour for breading. Yes, that is it's like Inception chicken.
Which came first, the flour or the inside?
Exactly. Yeah, I've done the chicken flour as a substitute for pork rind crumbs in my protein breading.
How's that work out?
That works. I like the pork rind crumbs because they have a little more fat. And I think it works well in the breading. And I like the flavor of the pork rind crumbs, but the
Yeah.
chicken flour worked fine too. And it worked great for a really, really lean breading if you're doing like a week
Sure.
or something.
Yeah.
Yes, progress and transformation has to be very diligent about drinking the waters when you're fasting. That is very important. At least you don't have the time taken up with cooking and thinking about food, and you can, have plenty of time to think about the electrolytes and the water. Sounds so
In the bathroom.
simple. Yes. Oh, okay. Hayden says, "I will make tortillas with the chicken flour as I have one of the tortilla press, that cooks it cooks it at the
That's
same time."
handy.
Um, yeah, I'll throw it into the yeah. Oh, okay. So sometimes you like throw in the chicken flour into a recipe. Yeah. So, Chef Fat Grams has done keto tortillas and carnivore tortillas with that kind of a cook at the same time tortilla press, which looks really cool. I was tempted. I was like, "Ooh, that looks cool, but it's another gadget."
So I have a cast iron tortilla press that
Oh, they
I've
can go
got.
on the stove.
It technically can, but it
Okay.
does not cook evenly on my stove. I've tried it. My thought was that I could do that, like put it
Mhm,
on the stove, have it heated up, and then do my egg wraps
mhm,
on that, and then be able to flatten it out and have it like squish perfectly
mm.
even. Um, Yeah, that was not the business. That did not go over well. I need an
Yeah,
electric crepe maker or something in order for
yeah,
that to
yeah, but, Chef Fat Grams, his stuff, his tortillas do look really good, and that
yeah,
I was mighty tempted to get one of those tortilla presses, but I just haven't pulled the trigger yet. Maybe on Black Friday, there'll be a good deal.
maybe. But will there be a good deal on extra cabinet space? That's the question.
Yeah, it's true. It's a good point.
Hey, listen, do you ever watch Dude Dad on
Yeah,
YouTube?
yes.
Okay, they just finished their renovation
Yeah.
of the addition and whatnot. And whenever he slid that drawer out from the bench zone, I was like, what is that?
Oh my god.
That's amazing. And it fit the Instant Pot with the lid on it. I was like,
Oh my goodness.
this this seems very intriguing.
Yeah. Oh, I can't look at it. I need to foster contentment. That
Yeah.
doesn't do it. By
I
looking at
just
things I can't have. And that's me. That's not everybody.
sure. I look at those ideas and I'm like, dang, that's a great idea. And then I
Mhm.
forget about it 18 seconds later
Yeah.
until moments like this.
Right. Uh, Black Friday, just over 2 weeks away. Credit card is prepared. Yes, there are gonna be some good Black Friday sales. I've been getting, like, the emails from companies saying, "This is what we're gonna do. Get ready," and there are
They're
quite a few
coming.
things. Yeah, so, yeah, just get that credit card ready. Well, make sure you have the money. Don't go into debt for it.
What?
That is impressive. You are the place to go when the apocalypse hits.
That is a stash.
Yeah. I wanna know how many you use a day.
Oh, that's a good question. Yes, Becky,
Because
how many keto chows do you use per day?
yeah, because if you're drinking 2 or 3 a day, then, I mean, that doesn't last you as long.
It's fair. It's fair. It's fair.
Then the great thing about KetoChow is that it doesn't go bad
For
fast, forever. So, it
that is
really
actually not factual. That is actually not factual.
that was
They do have an
terribly
expiration date or a
yes,
best buy date.
yes, yes.
So be mindful, but also it
Be
probably is
mindful.
going to last until it's probably
Yeah,
going to last longer than Twinkies.
true. Yeah. And, if the world ends, you could still be keto.
That's right.
Keto, even after the world ends.
Trademarked.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Question from John Wilcox III. Do y'all, I don't say y'all, so it
I
sounds
say
unnatural
y'all.
when I say it. Do y'all make your own mayo? I buy the olive oil kind at the store myself. Lindsay, go.
I have only purchased mayonnaise a handful of times over the past nearly 9 years. I do home make mine. I tend to ebb and flow. I usually use avocado oil because we like that quite a lot. And yeah, and we use tons of mayonnaise every week.
And
We use,
you have a video tutorial,
yeah,
right?
I do. I do have a video showing how I make it. I actually have a couple of videos showing how I make it. One of them using the immersion blender, one of them
Mhm,
using a big pitcher style blender.
mhm.
And yeah, and it's like one of those things. Every single week there's gotta be more mayo made.
Yeah, it's so easy. I don't do it as often as I should because it's so easy, but I just don't think to do it. So there's only one video where I made avocado oil mayo as like a tutorial, and it was in a recipe video for sweet potato salad, like a potato salad but with sweet potatoes. And I made the mayo in that video. There's also a video I did about making butter mayo, and
Yeah,
that
I
was
tried the butter mayo.
recipe, and it is really tasty. It's almost like a hollandaise sauce,
Yeah.
um, type thing because it is with butter. So
Oh,
that was really good. And, oh, I was gonna say, when you buy mayo at the store, if you buy avocado oil mayo or olive oil mayo, still check the ingredients because sometimes they will say avocado oil mayo, and it's actually mostly soybean oil or canola oil. And they just say, because it has some avocado oil, we're going to call it avocado oil mayo. So, just buy what you're comfortable with. But a lot of the olive oil mayos, they'll say olive oil and it's not 100% olive oil. And since it's so easy to make yourself, as long as you have an immersion blender, I mean, just try it once and see if it's for you.
And if you don't, you can still technically make it with a whisk and a bowl.
That's
It's
true. That's true.
actually possible. I was gonna say that I also have a mayo that's a PSMF friendly mayo that I made a while
Oh,
back,
yeah, that's
back
right.
in the old house that we were in. Actually, on my channel, there's three different homes
Yeah.
that we have lived in since starting this. So
I'm
there's
only on 2.
well, and that's how I remember things. I'm like, dang, that was so many years ago.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, that was back in Wisconsin.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway,
All right.
okay,
Becky says there's another secret flavor coming, and that is KetoChow. Yes, it has been announced that a new flavor is in the works. It's one of the fun ones where you have to order it blind and you don't know what it's going to be until you receive it. Although if it doesn't sell out in that period before they announce the flavor, you might be able to order it after you find out what it is, but there's no guarantees because it might sell out super fast. So that's the fun Black Friday intrigue over at the Keto Chows. You got to try it.
it's like a game of roulette.
It is. It is. And if you don't like certain flavors of Keto Chow, then maybe the game is not for you, and that's fine.
Oh
But if you
yeah,
like most of the Keto Chow flavors, just go for it.
yeah.
Okay, we are way over time here, but let me make sure oh, here's a question from Lisa. Let's see. Have you ever had a problem with the taste of the micro ingredients MCT oil powder you sometimes use sometimes for creamer? I was buying it and it was great, but recently have had patches that taste like
Batch.
I yeah, batches, I assume. I have not noticed that. I haven't used it recently though, so I haven't ordered it recently. I'm still working through what I, ordered a while back. So yeah, that is always a bummer, and it's frustrating for us when we recommend certain things. Like we went through this with all the egg white powders, basically all of them at this point, where we recommended it and either it's not available anymore or they changed something and it no longer works consistently, or it sometimes works and sometimes doesn't, and it's just like
Yeah.
it's frustrating, when we put links to things and it worked for us when we used it, but then the companies change something or other, and it's like, ah. So that is
I
frustrating, but
would
I have
ask
not experienced it myself.
I would ask the question if how you're using it. Are you adding it into other things and it's just like tasting different in those same things, or you're just using it straight? I don't know how you're using it. But
Yeah.
I've been using the micro ingredients version of the MCT oil powder. In fact, I've got my current bag I've only had for like a month at this point. And so I haven't noticed anything off tasting. So I would be more inclined to think that maybe you actually did get a batch that was wonky or something.
Yeah, that's frustrating. Oh, it's from the Goofy movie. Is that right?
It is.
Wow. I
That's
knew Chris
whenever
would be there
that's
for
whenever
us.
Max and Goofy are in the car and they're trapped and Goofy he's asleep and Max is gonna go and take the map and change the map so he can go to the Powerline concert, and then
Oh,
Goofy like sits up and looks at him and says, "How many cups of sugar does it take to get to the moon?" And then Max goes, 3.5, and he squeaks, and then Goofy knocks out again.
oh, that's hilarious. Okay, if you stack individual grains of sugar, it would take 4,000 cups to reach the moon. I assume the moon. Yeah. Fun information. All right, all right, all right. We're getting down here to the end. Want to make sure there's no big questions. Um,
We have an actually moment. Well, actually, heifer is a new cow, never had a baby.
Oh, okay. And what's the name of a cow that is it just a cow after it's had a baby? I mean, it would be
Do
a
you remember those?
dairy cow when it's with milk.
Do you remember those commercials that were like trying to get around the whole collect call thing? And the guy would call up somebody and say, "This is Mister. We had a baby. Eats a boy."
Yeah. Yeah. I do remember that.
That's what I'm thinking of every time somebody asks, "Is a boy or a girl?"
Oh,
So
that's
KetoChow lasts way longer than a
way
Twinkie.
longer. Yeah. Oh, maybe that's the new flavor, Twinkie flavor.
Oh man, we saw Chips Ahoy um, protein powder at Dick's Sporting Goods here in our town. Like big, container of it. Chips Ahoy. I don't remember what the actual brand was. PE Science, maybe. I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay.
But Jared goes and he looks at it, and it says that it's got actual pieces of Chips Ahoy cookies in it. And I was
Really?
like, I have questions.
That's
I
weird.
I don't know where to start, but I know I have them.
Wow. All right, Lisa says using for creamer the
Okay.
MCT oil
Okay.
powder. That is a bummer. Um,
I think I would just
oh yeah,
contact them like, hey, wonky. Ha!
this is what they should do. Late Halloween trick. Perfect. Make it black too. And then everyone's tasting it and
I'm not
uh,
gonna tell anybody how to run their business. I've decided I'm not good at it, so but I
okay.
personally won't be buying black licorice, especially if it's black.
Yeah, right. Okay, so assignments, make a Ninja Creamy with MCT oil powder, go
Check.
lift some weights or take a walk, and then
Check.
go look up Chef Fat Grams and check out his tortilla recipe.
Check.
All right. That is it for us today. Hope you
Yeah.
guys had fun. We sure did. And we will be back same time, same place next week, November 20th, getting real close to Thanksgiving. And
Yeah.